It's obvious that you listen to this show to hear about and support other people's dreams. But what about yours? What is your dream project? I'm here to help you break through whatever is in the way of your dreams and get you to the finish line. Go to dreamingbigcoaching.com today and take the first step. Literally, it's a button you can click to sign up for a free consultation with me. Let's find out if I can help you reach your goal. Click on Take the First Step. It's that simple to start the rest of your life. Get coached by Rob Southgate at dreamingbigcoaching.com. Welcome back again to Go Fund This, the podcast where you find out about the coolest crowdfunding campaigns out there that you want to know about. I'm your host, Rob Southgate, and today I'm joined by Dan Brousseau to discuss the Indiegogo for a short horror film, Chemical Imbalance Redux. Now, this is a really quick turnaround, so don't sit on this. This crowdfunding campaign will end on Friday, June 2nd, so there are only a couple of days left to help Dan's dream out. I love this so much. I even made an offer later in the episode that you might want to get in on. All right, let's get to it. Dan, welcome to Go Fund This. This is literally the 0 hour on this one. Usually I try to talk to you a little bit earlier, but today I've got Dan Brousseau. Am I saying it correctly? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I had to work on that because Dan's Canadian, and you got to make sure you're getting that right Quebec accent in there or something. I don't know.
Even Canadians say my name wrong, so it's good.
Do they? Oh, awesome. Yeah. So I promise to keep my Canada jokes to a minimum. But I might mention Tim Hortons while we're talking. I'm not sure. So this campaign, this is an Indiegogo, and I actually didn't understand this. I've done Indiegogos before, but I've never seen it work this way. This one is in demand, which means it hit its number, but it's still taking money in. But then when we were looking at it, you said, "Wait a minute, you're looking at the American stuff." Yeah. The Canadian one is different. No matter what, you're hitting the number. This is done as far as that goes, which means I can say my spiel that I'm going to say here. You still want to contribute this. You still want to put money into a project like this. It was a micro budget. It's not high. Right now, it's sitting at $19.45 US. What is it in Canada? Do you have it in front of you, Dan?
26. Let me get the exact number for you.
So you needed 2,500 Canadian.
And it's at 26.40.
Okay. Do the math real quick. I want to know that. I want that broken down into loonies and toonies. I'm kidding. No, don't do it. Don't do it. So you hit the number, but the important thing here is that people become aware of your production company. They become aware of this film. This is where it gets really important that people still share this and still contribute, because the money that comes in at this point, even though you've hit 100%, even though it's going to end on Friday, the money that comes in at this point is what helps fuel not only this project, but fuels you into the next project. It helps pay for post-production. This is all pre-production money we're talking. Yeah. So, all right, we did a little business at the front. Dan, let's wind it back. People that listen to the show know I have kind of a system to it. We usually start with tell me about you. So, Dan, why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then we'll talk about your movie.
So, as you know, Dan Brousseau. My day job, I drive a forklift. It's nothing special, but it gives me time to think about ideas I always got going through my head.
Sure.
I try to be a filmmaker, honestly. Like I do the best I can with what I have. I've done about 6 short films in the past. Nothing too major. One of them ended up in some film festivals, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Couple things on YouTube. But when it comes to film, I'm just a little fish, and I'm trying to make little fish movies.
Yeah,
I don't want to be this big little guy, the little independent guy. And like this project right now is a local project, and it's very important to me. So the actors, the crew, the music, the locations, all the funding except for the Indiegogo is all Sudbury local. I sell my art and there's a bunch of local businesses that are holding my art for sale. So people can go into the local business and grab a piece of art, or they could see that my art's at that local business and go to that local business for the first time. So it's kind of local helping local in that sense.
Yeah.
So that for this project, that's very important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So the name of the movie, well, actually, let's say two things. First of all, the name of the movie is Chemical Imbalance Redux, and it is a short horror film. And if you go to Indiegogo, you can just type in Chemical Imbalance Redux, and you're going to find it, or you can type in Daniel Brousseau, or just follow the link in the show notes. That's the easiest thing. And you'll find out that, through this Friday, which is that June 2nd? I think it is. Yep. Through June 2nd, this will still be available. So if you want to support this, jump in right now. And as soon as you hear this, share it with people.
Yes, please.
Because what we want to do is we want to build awareness. This is a really cool project. As you can tell, Dan's a super nice guy. We want to help him get off the forklift and start making some scary movies. And we also want to get the word out. This was something you told me in the first communication, that really you wanted to get the word out about your production company, which is Nickel City Slashers. So that's what you're doing, is you're spreading the word that Nickel City Slashers is a thing, that this movie is out there. We know this movie is funded, so the risk is nothing, right?
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. But we want to get the word out about the production company. We want to help build into this so that Dan can do more of this. I mean, indie horror is fantastic, and it's something that we should all be supporting. And like I said, it's a micro budget. I mean, you've already hit it. And for US dollars, you're at 1,945, and you've already beaten your budget. That's amazing. So honestly, putting $10 in makes a big difference. Putting $15 in, get that IMDb credit. That's one of the perks you've got on here. That's incredible.
There's one DVD copy left.
So can you describe the movie?
So we're going for, it's a body horror in the sense that there's an event that takes place in the movie that kind of mutates one of our actors, which will eventually, well, I can't really say too much because it's a huge plot point in the film, so I can't give too much away. But there's a mutation that happens to one of the characters, which is where the body horror comes in.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get the trauma style, so cheesy effects. Not nothing superior by no means. And I like the Return of the Living Dead, the Dead Alive, the over the topness of those movies. So like I'm really trying to get Chemical Imbalance to have that over the top gore.
Yeah.
But still like, market quality prosthetics.
Yeah.
But I want it to look good for the movie. I don't want to have blockbuster graphics in a very low budget film.
Right.
So I'm hoping
it stands out too much. It doesn't make sense when you do that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I wanted to keep it as true to the style of film as it is. Because if I spent $10,000 on effects and for a $2,000 movie, then something's wrong there. It's not the way the movie's supposed to look. So.
Right. Yeah, actually, I was just watching Evil Dead again the other day, and I mean, they did that thing on a shoestring, and those effects, even though they look pretty cool, when you really look at them, you're like, wow, these.
Yeah, it's rough, but it looks perfect.
Right. They matched the budget to the effects, and it's freaking awesome. So I definitely get that. And the trauma thing is always cool. Especially if you can overcome the writing. Trauma has some trouble with writing sometimes. If you have a little more interesting story that you can get by and then have that trauma style, that's a winner. I'm going to watch that every time, Yeah.
Chemical Imbalance started off as an idea I've had for years. But I can't write for the life of me. I cannot write. So I got my friend Matt Graves. He ended up writing the script based on my story. So we bounced it back and forth until it was where we were both happy with it. And now we are where we are.
Yeah. So it's awesome. What about let's go into where people can actually donate. If what tiers do you think people will be most excited about? Now, a lot of them are already sold out, so we can't go into the higher tiers, which is interesting. But what do you think people would be most excited about?
Well, there's one DVD copy left.
One. Okay, one jump in there.
Yeah.
But it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
And from a US standpoint, you said it's $30 Canadian, $22 USA. That's a great deal.
Yeah,
that's a great deal.
Like, that's why I've been told by other filmmakers about my campaign, is that I was actually charging not enough for perks. But at the same time, it comes back to me being just a small little thing. I'm not going to be charging these, $1,000 associate producer credit things. I just need a little bit to get by to make this little movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise I just feel greedy. So like as is the DVD copy, when it's mass produced, it's not going to be a very large mass production. So on the Indiegogo, there is one remaining. It's going to be signed by myself and Matt, the writer. And then the t-shirts are pretty cool.
Yeah, the t-shirt's super cool.
I got a secondary poster designed, which isn't on there at the moment. I haven't thrown that on there because it just received it.
Okay.
You can find it on the Instagram and all that. You can see the image of it. And then a local artist just started working on a third one, and he showed me a rough draft of what he did, and it reminds me so much of Return of the Living Dead style.
Oh, one of my favorite movies, man.
But with my character in the film that's all mutated. I saw it and I was like, man, this is amazing. So maybe in the future there'll be a third poster available. In which case you'd have to probably go to Nickel City Slashers and buy them that way, because the campaign would be down by then, obviously. But even if it's not a donation through Indiegogo, everything's going towards the movie. So
yeah, man, I will put links in the show notes. So even after the fact, if somebody's listening, they're like, hey, I want to check this out, they can go buy posters, they can buy t-shirts or whatever at Nickel City. I'll make sure all of that's in the show notes. Once again, I'm going to tell you, I really encourage people to support this. You're not talking a lot of out of pocket, but it makes a huge difference in a project that has a lot of heart. It's got its head in the right place, and it's indie horror. I don't know how many things I send out that have the hashtag support indie horror, but it's a hell of a lot, because indie horror is really interesting, and where funneling your funds has a huge effect.
Yeah.
So Chemical Imbalance Redux. Now, I got a question, and I don't see it on here, so this might be a question that you go, no. Are there any stretch goals on this?
I didn't add any because I honestly I didn't think I'd make the 100%.
Okay.
So I didn't come up with any stretch goals. Should it pass the 100%? It's basically going towards better pay for the cast. They're getting paid regardless. They're getting paid regardless. A lot of them said they do it just for the credit and the experience, because most of the people working on the project are brand new to the field.
Yeah.
So, but I told them, like, the funds are going to be there. You're going to get at least a little something.
Yeah, get a taste. Sure.
Yeah.
So did you say you're at 100%?
Yeah, it just made 100% from what I noticed. It says it's in demand now. So cool. Usually when it goes into in demand, it means it's made its mark.
Cool.
So any additional funds for, I guess, a stretch goal would be just to better pay the actors for their donated time. And if anything, just add extra blood to the effects, just some of them make it a little bit more over the top.
All right, I'm going to do something I've never done on this show. I am going to add a stretch goal for you. Okay.
Okay.
Listen to this.
Okay.
If you hit another 500 US, okay. So right now we're at 1945. If you hit 2445, you don't have to spend a dime, but I will get you and whoever you want on a Twitch show to either do like a round robin interview or to play like a tabletop horror game.
Oh,
does that sound cool?
That sounds very cool.
So this is my stretch goal for you. If we can, between now and Friday, if we can pull another $500 in, it's not going to cost you a dime. It's going to be good promotion for you. And we'll get you on one of these Twitch channels. In fact, I have a couple of friends that have games that would be thrilled to run a horror game with you guys.
That'd be awesome. I actually just got myself Horror Trivial Pursuit. My wife got it for me.
Oh, fun. Well, I was going to have you do almost like a D&D game, but we could also just have you go and do
horror. Do D&D. No.
You don't do it?
No, I'm not a fantasy guy.
No. Horror.
Oh, there's a horror D&D?
Yeah. You have no idea. You would go crazy for this.
D&D is huge, I guess, yeah.
So we'll either do a horror tabletop game like that, which you'll learn and you'll fall in love with. Trust me.
Okay.
Or, it's not dungeons and swords and no, we're talking horror, man. Or we could have you guys on and run a game of Horror Trivial Pursuit, which would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
All right. So we've got a goal. Now, tomorrow is Wednesday, which is when this is going to post. So people listening, you got your marching orders. We got to get another $500 in here between now and Friday. All right.
Yes.
Once again, go ahead.
Every credit's getting a name in the film credits itself. And if you're the only credit that's not going on IMDb is the stickers. The stickers are badass, just so you're aware. But everything else is going to end up with the IMDb credit and the credit in the films, so people will see that you helped.
Cool. Yeah, $35, you get a T-shirt. If we did that, there's 17 left at $22 US. I mean, come on, that's going to make a huge difference in getting to our $500 goal, which now is my goal. So Dan, you're going to have to keep me informed as to what happens with this. Once again, it's Chemical Imbalance Redux. And you go to Indiegogo, follow the links in the show notes. Dan, where can people, since not everybody is going to look in the show notes, they might be auditory, where can they find you? What's the best place to interact?
I think my most popular platform is Instagram, which is instagram.com/NickelCitySlashers, all one word. And then there's facebook.com/NCSlashers. And twitter.com/NCSlashers. And then there's our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/@Nickel City Slashers for all the shorts that I've done and a couple of the shorts that I've done and a bunch of just random videos that are up there.
And you want to help out, go in there and rate and review or give thumbs up or whatever to his YouTube shows. That makes a difference too. And watch them. They're short. You watch them, and that completed watch time actually helps him as well. So there you go, Dan. Good luck with this, and I'm going to invite you back on other shows. There's a secret project that has not been announced to the world yet, but it's about short film that you're invited on called Short Heads. I just said the name, but nobody knows what it is. I'm going to invite you back on Alley Chats, and I'll definitely invite you back on here as we have future crowdfunding efforts because I think you're a lot of fun. And then sometime we're going to meet up and you're going to buy me a Tim Hortons coffee. I'm gluten-free. So
gluten-free?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We got celiac in our house.
That's unfortunate.
Yep. So the three of us are celiac, so we don't have any gluten here, but I am not coffee-free by any stretch.
That's good.
All right, Dan. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's right, man. Thank you so much. This was great, and good luck.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
The Indiegogo for Nickel City Slashers Chemical Imbalance Redux ends on January 2nd, which is only a couple of days from now. Go to Indiegogo and support Chemical Imbalance Redux and be sure to tell your friends about it. Let's help Dan hit this stretch goal that I gave them. Thanks again, Dan, for coming on the show and sharing this very cool project with us. If you or anyone you know has a crowdfunding effort about to launch or currently going, send them my way. I love to share cool projects and to help people reach their goals. You can connect with me through the Go Fund This Podcast Facebook page or via email directly to rob@smgpods.com. You can find a link to this Indiegogo and any links that we discussed in the show notes. Go Fund This is a production of Southgate Media Group. Hosted, edited, and produced by me, Rob Southgate. Thanks for listening to Go Fund This.